whale. Welcome to another spoiler review episode. Welcome to the Matrix. Spoiler review. Hope you enjoy the episode.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Check the number and dial again.
What are you trying to tell me? That I can dodge bullets?
No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to.
Cool. Guys, welcome to the spoiler review of The Matrix. But before we get into that, I have literally just finished watching The Substance, and I wrote a crazy little poem based on it that I wanted to share with you guys. It doesn't have a title, but here we go. Sex sells till it's empty cells, mind trapped inside oneself. Living up to expectation is a living hell. You are not enough, as everything reminds us, magazines, reflections, the brutality of a coin toss. Two sides of one entity. Hold on to your youth like it's a parasite, sucking you from the inside after every extraction pipe. Eating away your time, nostalgia denial like a lightning strike. Don't appreciate what you have until it's gone. Your work is just a bloody mess. The younger, talented version kicks you to death. Poets pull themselves apart for art, but what happens when there's no organs left? Suffocating on acceptance till your authenticity's bereft. Spiraling chaos in life as we're all pieces for all the gods playing chess. Art is on digital respiratory looking for its final breath. Beauty is only skin deep, that's a laugh. This agony of affirmation ends in a bloodbath. Chaos is spread when your creation sprays the walls red. Vanity's a dangerous path. You're better off with gratitude instead.
Woo! Yeah, boy. Oh, by the way, folks, he'd literally finished watching the film and he had about 15 minutes before he came on. So that is like a 10-minute poem writing session. How the hell? I couldn't even write that, never mind think that up in that length of time.
Nah, cheers, bro.
You clearly were having little thoughts as you were going, weren't you? And like piece them together so you could whack them down straight away.
Oh yeah, man. Well, it was such a visceral film, man. So much of it was coming to me, man. It was great.
So we're gonna just do a spoiler review on The Substance very soon. I think we've left enough time that everyone will have seen it hopefully by then. But yeah, if you haven't, it's on Prime, right?
Yeah.
Was it free or did you? How much did you?
I did the movie trick.
Oh, okay, the sneaky. But it is on Prime Video if you haven't seen it, and we urge you to. It was literally the best film of 2024, so make sure you catch it.
It's an absolute masterpiece and very current, as obviously I think it's going to scoop up some things for the Oscars, man, without a doubt.
So again, before we get into the Matrix conversation, what are you having a little beverage this evening? What are you having? What are you having there, Sunny Jim?
I'm having a cheeky little place called Beer 52.
It's time for Rage Whale's Shout Out of the Week.
Beer 52?
Yeah, cheeky little Beer 52. I'm not going to have 52 beers. I mean, that would be crazy. But this one I love because it's actually got whales on it. Oh. And the whales are actually like cheersing each other.
Drinking beer. Yeah. And they look angry, so there's kind of rage whales cheering each other.
Yeah, angry rage whales, and that looks kind of like a word I try and pronounce or fail to pronounce.
What's the word? Halagaloo.
Halagaloo, man.
Halagaloo.
I speak halagaloo on some of these episodes, to be fair. Oh!
Beer 52, get your subscription. We're not sponsored by them, by the way.
We're not at all.
Yet. Hey, guys. Give us a shout.
We love you. We love you.
Yeah, Beer 52, you get a subscription, and it's all sorts of randomness. Like there's so many different varieties of beers. So yeah, pretty handy.
That's the beauty of it. It's dark beers, light beers. They do spirits. They do wines. All crafted.
Well, I got like a 3-month subscription so far, There's loads of them. Look, all the
Yeah.
cool design stuff. And this one's got a Scottish guy on it. Just
course.
that's probably going to be the first one I have. So
They
yeah,
knew you were coming, dude. They knew you were coming.
exactly. So yeah, Beer 52.
Beer 50,
Anyway.
baby. Well, should we do a digital cheers? Boom.
Ooh,
Woo!
nice.
I wasn't even near the microphone. That was a serious crackerjack.
Crackerjack. So
Oh, that's gorgeous, man.
getting into the Matrix, just as a side note, are you going to wear the sunglasses the entire conversation, or
Do you want me to, or
no? I think we're
telling
good.
me I don't need to wear sunglasses?
I think we're good
I
now.
don't have to.
But yeah, so to begin
I
it,
might. I like it. I'll keep it on for a
do
bit.
you?
No.
Okay. No, you
You
can.
like eye contact? You like eye contact, right?
Wow, there's no pressure. I'm just looking at myself anyway.
You want to look deep in my blue eyes?
So before we begin, this is a new thing trying. Another podcast does it, and I have stolen it off them. But it's a great idea, and
Borrow from the best.
it really sets the mood for the conversation. Not to push people onto other podcasts, but there's a podcast called Unspooled, and they're very good. I enjoy that podcast because I can dip in and out. I don't have to listen to every episode because it's got the title of the film, and they just discuss that film. So if I don't care, I don't listen to it, and I just listen to the ones I like or have seen to hear their opinions. But they've also got more in-depth knowledge, behind the scenes, that sort of stuff. And we're going to delve into all that as well. But the zeitgeist. So The Matrix came out in the year of 1999. And it's scary to think there's people listening to this that were not born during that time. This is before 9/11. This is before the world changed. This was a different era in so many different ways.
Millennia, right? Was it 2000?
Yeah, what was the millennium? Yeah, so it was a few months before, the crash, the big bug, the millennium bug, all that sort of thing was going to happen. Nothing did. But in the zeitgeist of that year, that's when the euro currency was invented's the wrong word, but that's, France was still using francs and they changed to euros that year. It was the impeachment of Bill Clinton.
Okay.
That's just a few things in news. I could go down loads of war stuff, but let's not go into that.
What's this? Sorry.
Let's go into music and films. So in the year of 1999, these songs came out. Sing it back.
Sing it back to me.
Yeah, boy. Also, the biggest hit probably, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Yeah, Britney Spears.
So Britney Spears was out. At the same time was I Want It That Way.
Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but
Tell me why.
Also, Cat just jumped.
Wow, it was because of our singing. It was like, whoa, wow. Whoa.
Also, Sweet Like Chocolate.
Boy. Sweet
And
chocolate.
Wickedy Wickedy Wild Wild West.
Oh, yeah, man. The Will Smith one that was based on the
film Wild West.
Well, yeah, no, but it was Stevie Wonder, wasn't it?
Oh,
The
yes.
track was Going Straight to...
But the films that came out that year, so The Matrix is still one of the biggest action films of ever. But the films that came out that year that I had to compete with were insane. It was, I'll just give you a list of like 12. I'll just run through them.
Real quick though, Will Smith turned down The Matrix to do Wild Wild West.
He did. Oh, spot on factual stuff there, yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that's what came out in the last couple of weeks, as Will Smith was teasing some Neo shit.
Matrix
as if
5.
he's going to get involved with number 5. And that would be a good meta joke, because in The Matrix, they do sort of meta stuff.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that in a minute, but
Yeah.
films that came out that year were amazing classics like Blair Witch Project,
Ooh.
Fight Club,
What?
A Bug's Life,
Of course.
Cruel Intentions,
Yeah.
The Mummy.
Oh, Brendan
These are
Fraser.
massive films.
Brendan Fraser, yeah.
Toy Story 2.
What?
Star Wars The Phantom Menace. Eyes Wide Shut.
No.
What's your sound effect for that?
Ooh.
Big Daddy. I love Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, Big Daddy's House. Yeah, yeah,
Yep. Man on the Moon with Jim Carrey.
yeah. Gary, yeah.
American Beauty.
What? Spacey.
Spacey. Sixth Sense.
Wow.
I can't even read my writing now. The Green Mile.
Don't put me in the dark, boss. Don't put me in the dark.
And another one I can't read my own writing of. But
Wow.
yeah, so
That's
there was
two insane films.
incredible amount of films.
Do you know what's really fucking mental? Like, after hearing all those amazing films, the only one I thought about that year that really like burnt into my memory was The Matrix.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the first ones that you think of. I mean, there's things like Any Given Sunday, Girl Interrupted,
Yeah, yeah.
Austin Powers, The Spy That Shagged Me, Bone Collector, Run, Deep Blue Sea. That was a good one.
Oh, that was great, man, with the sharks. That was fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean, Analyze This. There was lots of good
Nero and Billy Crystal.
There was lots of good films, but just before, well, we're in it now, but the meta thing I was on about is that I literally just watched it today, and we're not going to do things in order. Hey, Pooty Cat. We're not going to do things in order, but it's going to be like bits I've picked up on because we've all seen the film. If you've not seen the film, you're insane. Go watch it. It's on Netflix right now for free. All 3 films are there. And the 4th one, I think, is on Prime. I don't think you need that one.
I really struggled with that one.
But the meta thing I mentioned a minute ago is that the actors in it that reminder, it is a spoiler, so we're going to say things that give away story plots.
Yeah, sure.
But the actor who's from Bad Boys, which is Joe Pantoliano,
Oh, he's fucking amazing, man.
who plays Cypher,
Yeah.
in the meta joke that I don't think we would have got when we watched it initially, that was screaming at me today when I watched it, was like, he's fed up of being outside the Matrix. So if anyone doesn't know, the general plot of the film is your life, everyone's life, is in the Matrix. You don't exist. You're just a program. The real humans exist in like a farm, like a cyber farm controlled by AI.
And Pink Goo.
You're plugged into the Matrix to live a life. So everything you taste, feel, and do is not real. It's just,
Been manufactured.
Yeah, it's just electric fucking pulses doing it. So when Neo chooses the red pill,
Yep.
he is allowed to see into the beyond, the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And it's really technical and boring and stuff like that, but it's the real thing. And he meets Cypher, and he's a guy that he's come out of the Matrix, and he's one of the only people that's finding his real life now really dull and boring because he's getting bossed around by Morpheus to do his bidding. So he's not excited about his life. He wants to go back in the Matrix and enjoy steak and enjoy dinner, enjoy doing
Listen to harps.
He knows it's fake, but he would rather have that experience. And I think most people would. So he double crosses Morpheus, but in the scene where he's talking to the agents, trying to give him up, he says, I want to be in the Matrix, but I want to be rich. I don't know, make me an actor or something.
Brilliant.
And he's an actor in real life.
Yeah.
It's like
that was really cool. That bit. That was really fucking cool. What does he says as well? He says that beautiful line where he says something. Oh, does he say like denial is bliss or something? Or
oh yeah. Well, that's the famous line, isn't it? What
he
is
cuts
it?
into the steak and he says he goes, I know that when I put this in my mouth, it's not real, but the flavors and stuff. And then he says, something is bliss. What the funk is it now?
Yeah, no, it's denial's bliss. He says it better than that.
Yeah, it's definitely not denial is bliss though. It's something like that. It's a famous saying, like something is bliss, and it's a famous quote.
Oh God!
Yeah,
everyone's listening to this knowing it because it's quite an obvious thing. But yeah, what was your general thoughts? You watched it recently as well. So what was your...
But I was just thinking, talking about spoilers. So at the beginning, Cypher is the one that's calling Trinity, right? So it's his voice at the very beginning.
Yes.
And she's like on the mission, and he's like, "Oh, you know about him. You're excited by him," and he's kind of jealous. There's kind of like a love triangle. Well, it's more he just fancies her, and she doesn't know who the hell he is. Really, she's not interested, but she just wants Neo. And he basically she basically says this line is corrupted or something, right? And then it jump cuts to her getting pinned down by all those police. So if you're really smart, you're like, he has all of the knowledge, so he's already the rat because he set her up already.
Yeah, because they're attacking her right at the beginning.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So he's before the Neo project even came along, he's either trying to get the Morpheus through Trinity. He's like, well, I tell you what, I'll throw Trinity under the bus. And that's what that whole intro is, which
almost
is
literally
incredible. Yeah, which is incredible, man. And it's shot. It's so cinematic. I don't know if you know this. The reason the Wachowski brothers, that are now the Wachowski sisters, got the green light to make the film is they found an artist that drew the storyboard like it was a kind of graphic novel, which I think it was maybe it was even based on that. And they had the whole film as almost like a flicker book of just every single scene, and they shot it scene for scene based on that exact graphic novel. And the whole film was greenlit based on how fucking cool this novel looked, or this kind of like a comic strip basically of the Matrix.
Well,
and they were
revolutionary for its time as well. The concept, the depth of it.
Yeah, and also bullet time. They were the first people to create like bullet time. So it's like slow motion and like, I mean, you're never going to forget those scenes where he's like, Trinity, and there's like, and he's like panicked, and you feel nervous for him when he's trying to dodge the bullets. And it's like, like an idiot.
I was watching it intently just to watch out for terrible special effects, and it was immaculate. And obviously there's like 20 cameras in a circle around him. That's what does it. And they take it out. There was a few moments where the CGI was really bad, but you forgive it a little bit. But most of it, I'd say 90% of it was flawless. But you could tell they were on strings when they were jumping. You could see that they were bounced. But it's deliberately fake. But then that's not right or wrong, because they're in the Matrix in the sense that they can defy gravity. Yeah. So the jump that looks like they're being hoisted can be forgiven as reality.
Yeah. It's like they're building up to it. Woo!
Oh, by the way, the phrase is "ignorance is bliss."
Yeah, there you go, man. Cheers, dude. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's just the way he delivers it, and then you got the harp like.
Well, that's like I was trying to look through the quotes to find it.
Yeah, I can see like panic-stricken face.
I was like, I couldn't find it. I had to Google it to kind of get the right phrasing.
You're like idiot. Thank God for the internet.
But as I was looking through, the funniest quote I could find, which brings me on to one point, is with Morpheus and Neo, and it's Keanu Reeves. What's he famous for? Being a surfer dude. And it's Morpheus. He says one line, but Keanu Reeves' response is every Keanu response in the films of the 90s. Morpheus goes, "Free your mind." And what does Neo say? Keanu Reeves, "Whoa." That's actually written as a quote, that one line.
That is awesome. Talking of like little meta moments and nuances, with the John Wick series, right? He does the exact line from Matrix where he says, we need guns, lots of guns. And that's in one of the John Wick things when he's speaking to Morpheus, which is obviously he plays a different character in John Wick. But as soon as
I believe that
Lawrence Fishburne was involved in John Wick, it was just so cool because it's like Neo and Morpheus again meeting up. It was just a dream come true.
That's it. Lawrence Fishburne in this film is really, really good. He's intense but likable at the same time.
They're just the coolest cats, aren't they? It's
Carrie-Anne Moss definitely is the coolest.
Oh yeah, she's cool as fuck, man. Especially in that kind of like leather get up.
But the high kick she does as well, like He's back. Her back. The
I
bad
love the
guy
way she
behind
kicks.
her
Yeah,
and lifts her leg so high that it
yeah,
goes behind her own head and kicks the guy
yeah,
behind her.
yeah. What about when
And
she kicks the chair into one of the cops?
yeah, and I just started watching Matrix Revolutions, the second one, and there's a bit where the guy's running at her, and she just bends down, like sticks her head below, like by her knees,
Yeah.
and her foot over the top comes over and
Oh,
kicks
yeah,
her
she
in the
almost
head.
like a scorpion tail kick. Yeah, she's so badass.
Yeah, the beginning of the second film is like OTT nuts. It's
Yeah.
but like watching the film today, like the bit that everyone's waiting for is that end sequence, and it is such a cool fucking build up where Neo walks in with the bag, puts it down,
Oh, yeah, the third act. Yeah, kind of
and
like.
the music changes. You're like, oh, shit's about to go down.
But it's cool. It's when he goes, "Have you got any weapons or anything on your person?" And he just opens like in slow motion. He's like, "Oh," and he goes, "Boom." And the guy's like, "Whoa!" That's
But
so
that's
fucking
but
cool.
all of it is like.
It's just such a sexy, slick.
Here's a
Fun.
little shout out. Shout out to Lewis Saunderson for being our guest last week. Thanks again,
Yeah,
man. That was really cool. And it, Matrix has been on my watch list for a couple of months now because it appeared on Netflix. So I put it on my watch list to just remember to watch it at some point. And it was just because Lewis mentioned it last week on our chat.
yeah, yeah.
Go back and listen to Lewis Saunderson episode, guys, if you get a chance. He's the famous crying man on TikTok. It's episode 87. But he mentioned the Matrix doing watching a load of them. I was like, oh god, I just need to get involved, and that's what made me watch it today. And
Nice.
I was gripped. Again, it's one of those films that, like when we watched Seven, it's like you watch it knowing everything about it,
Yeah.
and you put it on, and you're like, you
I was
can't
about to
take your
say
eyes away.
Matrix and Seven are in my top 10 of all time, right? And it's the kind of film you could put on any time, and like you're saying, you just glued to it. Here's something I noticed though upon my recent watch is that his going into that meta thing, the manager of the guy that Neo's working for, he is an exact carbon copy of Agent Smith in the way that he's dressed, in the way that he speaks, because he says Mr.
Oh,
Anderson.
yes, I did notice him saying Mr.
So
Anderson.
cool. It's so clever because I'm like, oh my God, that's like one of the Agent Smiths. It's the idea that those that are in charge they kind of act that way, as in like you're just a product to certain managers. Do you know what I mean? Like you're just
Yeah.
a number. You're just a cog in a wheel.
But the phrase that they said at the beginning, right, I don't think anyone understood. I definitely didn't. When in 1999, when they say, "Oh, this is all AI," I don't think anyone understood what that was.
Yeah.
Not a clue. Even if you Googled, wait, did you have Google in '99? Maybe it was Ask Jeeves,
Yeah.
and it was like, what is AI and be artificial intelligence? And as far as we're concerned, in '99, that means those robot dogs that do nothing, that bounce and flip. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing there. But
When you watch
convert
it
to
now,
2025, AI, you can have a conversation with, an intelligent conversation,
a frightening
and
conversation.
it will convert back to you. And you only need to watch Megan and shit like that, and
Yeah.
all these sort of things. But the reality and the thing that harked back to the 80s was like not the music, but the score. Like
Yeah.
there's loads of cool like 90s hardcore rave and metal and rock songs playing throughout, which is super cool. But there is a bit where the bad guys come in where it is a bit, it's not exact, so it's not exact copy, but it is dun 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 dun.
I was going to say Terminator 2.
Terminator freaking
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's like a slight key difference.
Yeah, but also when he's in the lift, because it's got the
Yeah. It's like
when
mechanical at
yeah,
the same time.
yeah, like machine kind of crunching, unnerving noises.
I took the dog for a walk after watching the film, and I put on the soundtrack while I was walking the dog, and it's got Marilyn Manson, Ministry, Lunatic Calm, The Prodigy, Rob Zombie, Deftones, a band called Hive, I don't know, but they've got a song called Ultrasonic Sound. It is amazing. They've got Monster Magnet, Rammstein, Rage Against the Machine a couple of times. It is wall-to-wall bangers, and they're all angry and industrial and aggressive, and fucking action's about to happen. It's like build up to.
Well, have you noticed that it's like you fully go on, like, without sounding cheesy, like you fully go on a journey with Neo, right? Because at the very beginning, he kind of he wakes up. I think his head's on his laptop, and it's saying, "Wake up, Neo! The Matrix has got you." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then it says, "Knock, knock," and then you literally hear the knocking of the people arriving.
Yeah.
And the storytelling is so precise. It's brilliant. We instantly get the kind of character that Neo is, that he's got a kind of split life, and that he's in a job that he can't stand, and he's just a kind of battery essentially. And then when they're like, "Oh, you should come with us," and then she says, "Follow the white rabbit," and it's not until the girl turns her head to say, "Oh yeah, he should definitely come," and he's like, "Yeah, I will come." Oh, is it on her shoulder? Sorry, my bad. I thought it was on her neck.
Yeah, it's on the back, on her shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. But then it's like, and then he goes to the nightclub, and then he meets Trinity, and then she's saying, "They're looking for you, Neo," and he's like, "What are you talking about?" And then it's like, "They're coming for you," and I don't know when, but it's going to happen soon. And then they start talking about, "I know you've been looking for him, but he's been searching for you," sort of thing. And then it goes straight to the work, and then it's so tense the way that they've made all of these like office cubicles is like a maze. And then they're trying to give him directions, but then you've got
things to tell him where to go. It's like duck down now.
But dude, here's the thing. This is the thing. When I watched it again, the boy that delivers the phone is the young lad that gets like blasted. The one that designed the Lady in Red, who designed the program.
Yeah. Mouse.
It's Mouse. Yeah.
You know he's from Home and Away.
Oh wow. Well, that's quite from Home and Away to Matrix. That's a pretty sweet jump.
Yeah, because I remember Googling him back then, because I was like, that's the only one I knew.
Cool. He's such a lovable character. But sorry, guys, that's what I'm going to say. James is actually off with the Lady in Red. That's why he's not here in this episode. But yeah, it was like
Lady in Red.
He drops off
sing with me
the phone, and then he does that really kind of cool, like when it goes, and when it flips open. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Take a look behind you." And then like you're fully immersed in him trying. He's like, "Take your next left, go when I say go." And it's like, it's really kind of fun, him trying to kind of navigate his way out before getting caught. And then he's like asking, "How do you know all this information?" And they've got all this information about what his office looks like on this floor, and he has to go over to there, and he's like, "How do you know all this?" And then it's like he fails. So again, this thing I talked about again in stories, when characters fail to achieve something, it makes it more exciting for the viewers, right? So then he's like, "Damn it, he failed." So we didn't know what the outcome would have been for that. And now he's trapped. So he's trapped with all the agents, and then that shit goes down in the interrogation room. And that's who's like, "How about I give you the finger and you give me my phone call?" And then that's when they throw him on the table. And that bit's really creepy. 3 men trying to pull up a man's t-shirt and pin him down. That was like really horrible.
Little gadget.
Yeah, and then they pull out literally like what was it, like a little
It's like a tracker that turns globule and then turns into like a squid.
When it kind of like splits almost into like a kind of parasite, like mosquito.
Like the cleaning shrimp from Slips's fish tank.
Oh wow! Yeah, that's
little cleaning shrimps that used to. But it's that type of thing. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but again, sorry. Again, then it does the cool psychological thing where he then wakes up and it's like a lightning thing, and then you think, "Oh, it was just a horrible nightmare," because it felt so horrendous, and the fact that his mouth was sealed together and like some horrendous, cool special effects and kind of horrific moments happened to him, and then he wakes up and is like, "Oh my god, it was just a dream. It was just a dream," and then I can't remember what happens, but somehow they meet up in the car. They pick him up or something, say, "We need to meet you."
Yeah.
And then you got the cool thing again of like, so he's trying to navigate through a maze, right? And then then his intestines becomes like a maze, because then he's got this cool fucking crazy machine where they're trying to catch the fucking tracker inside his chest. And then she's like, "You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it." And like, it's really tense inside this car. And then, well, before that, they're like, "You've got 2 paths to choose," and there's kind of that kind of profound kind of philosophical decisions throughout the thing where he's always making choices. And he opens the door and there's that beautiful cinematic shot of the road going back that way and the rain hitting the concrete. And she says, "You know where that road goes. You've walked it a million times." and it's just all about it's just all about choices, man. It's fucking so cool.
It is a deeper film than I initially gave it credit for, because I haven't seen it for ages, to be honest. I didn't hold it as high esteem as most people, but I think I respect it more for seeing it as an adult and more in this generation, this world.
Yeah, this world now. Yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of, you watch it going, this is less science fiction. This is plausible is the wrong word, because it is still far fetched, but
yeah,
who's to say it's not real? Back then it was far fetched.
yeah,
Today,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Because Morpheus makes the point that the simulation is set in the 20th century or 21st century, but we are in 21 something. We don't even know what year it's in. So
Yeah.
it's still 100 years away from where we are right this second. So who's to say that AI in 10 years doesn't get cleverer? In 20 years, they take over. In 30 years, they start farming us. You know,
Well, but that
it's a bit it's still far-fetched, but
no, but it's scary. But it feels quite real though, because the idea of cloning, because like you got to think that this sounds a bit weird, like saying about they're making different fruits, right? So they're like cloning grapes or tomatoes. They're making crops. They're trying to regrow crops based on cloning things, right? So who's to say that they couldn't regrow? Well, actually, they're regrowing organs. Like there's people wearing like new arms that are based off their own DNA cells, and it's been rebuilt or something. It's mind blowing stuff.
There's so much fantasy to it that is less fantasy now.
Which is spooky though, because it's like art creates science. So movies and artists create these stories with these crazy, exciting, elaborate things happening, and scientists go, "Ooh, I wonder if we could make that, if we could recreate that," and that's how scarily happens.
Matrix is Black Mirror before Black Mirror.
100%. I was going to say that. Yeah.
But some funny bits are that all it made me think at the very beginning when Trinity is running away, fucking cool. What an opening sequence.
Yeah.
Is badass. She's cool as fuck.
Fucking runs across the wall and they're like,
yeah, that bit. I would think a film back then, like I said, think about the other films that came out then. Was anything that had that action?
No,
like Phantom Menace was really over the top CGI and not great from memory.
Yeah, the fight was only good at the end though, but that was about it.
But like there was no good film. A lot of the films that came out those years were non-special effects. Like this was like early special effects stuff.
It feels like punk noir, doesn't it? Like The Matrix. It feels like steampunk noir, which is fucking cool.
Yeah, it's like industrial sort of.
He breaks his arm, breaks his nose, and he's like falling back. Like, no, this is the bit where she rises up, and then she into all the other men, like knocking them over, like they were like bowling balls and
flying Karate Kid.
Yeah, but it's also the dialogue. So you know when it jump cuts to her there, and like she sat down, like this is just one girl we're talking about. Those guys will be fine. I send them up with a few others. He's like, your men are already dead.
And then it's like her killing them.
Yeah, and then she kicks the shit out of everyone. And then
then the agents find her, and she does that jump all the way because they don't see her jump; they just see the agent jump and making an impossible jump and landing like a superhero.
Yeah, man.
And then he comes up like
and they're all like, "Whoa!"
She jumps over a building to the next building and through
flies.
a window.
Yeah, she flies upside down.
Yeah, goes through the tiny window that she can only just fit through, rolls down the stairs, lands on her back, pointing at the hole, and she doesn't disappear. She's like, "He's coming, he's coming."
No. She says, "Get up, Trinity. Get up." It's so good because it's like you can see her doubting herself.
It's tense because she's waiting there for she pauses for a bit.
Yeah, and you can see that thing swinging like by the window. There's something just swinging, and it's really tense. And it's like you think it's going to come through the window, like it's.
But that's the bit that took me out of it, and it's not its fault. Maybe it is. Maybe it is a meta joke again. I don't know. They could have thought of any way of doing it, and they chose this route, when she goes downstairs and she's about to escape, and it's got the other agent,
Mm-hmm.
the main agent, in the vehicle going to drive into the
Hmm.
telephone booth, and her running to the telephone booth to pick it up.
Yeah, it's so tense though.
All I was thinking was Bill and Ted.
Oh, because of the phone booth.
Phone booth and transporting. They pick
Yeah,
up the
yeah,
phone,
yeah.
dial a number, and it goes. Whoosh.
Oh yeah.
It's exactly Bill and the Matrix is Bill and Ted.
Wow, that's why they wanted Keanu Reeves, because they're like, you could be the poster boy.
Bill and Ted.
Wow, that's
Well, it
mental.
is though.
But I also thought a weird thing to say for Matrix was it felt like a porridge advert, because you know when they're all sat around the table, they're all it made me want to eat porridge, because it's like they're like, it's all good, it's all got vitamins.
That's why you had pot noodle tonight.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything the body needs. Well, yeah, but porridge would have been much better for me. But it's like they're all
Side
eating.
note, have you seen the thing online where it's someone doing a microscope on pot noodles?
Oh Jesus, yeah, with all of the bugs and stuff. Don't even get me started.
It's 90% bugs and 2% cardboard. There's
Yeah,
like
I know.
nutrition in that.
I think that's why I got very drunk off my first beer, because I only had cardboard and
Thank you, Beer 52.
yeah. But I did see that. That was absolutely horrendous.
And we discussed it in a previous episode. There's a little like random fact tidbit, but I only read it when I brought it up the time before. Now I watched the film in context. It was so obvious. It's like how it's a subtle obviousness. The bit when he goes to speak to the Oracle.
Oh yeah.
In the cookie bit, but she goes,
Don't worry about the table.
"You're not the one. Just so you know, you're
Yeah.
not the one." And he's like deflated, and she's like, "Don't worry. When you leave here, you'll forget all about it. It won't be a big thing. Have a cookie and you'll forget. It's like when you delete cookies, if the internet forgets."
Whoa, that's
The
deep.
internet-
I was thinking that about, because that's profound, because they wrote this film before they even knew that there's something called cookies is something that
Cookies must have been a thing then.
Was it? What, cookies?
Internet
No.
existed.
Was it?
Maybe it was a thing.
People weren't talking about cookies unless it's. It feels like it is, like a kind of symbolic thing of like the fact that we go, oh yeah, but you've got cookies following you now. It's like the cookies, which is connected to like Ram and you know.
That's it. The Oracle gives her the cookie so he can like move on with his life. And
yeah, but I was going to say, so wait, so Neo can dodge bullets, but he can't catch a vase. It's like that.
Yeah, but that's the best bit. When she goes, "Come on in, Neo, and don't worry about the vase." And he goes, "What vase?" And it breaks. He knocks it over.
Yeah, but
it goes, "I'm so sorry." He goes, "How did you know that?" And he goes, "Don't worry about how I knew. It's really going to boggle your mind later when you leave and go, would you have done it if I hadn't said it?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh,
yeah,
that's mad."
But you know when he sees that little kid and he's bending spoons, and the kid says, "Don't," you know, it's like there is no spoon. Like one of the coolest moments is
try and bend the spoon.
Yes, that's impossible. There is no spoon. More like you bend around the spoon. And then he does it, and then it moves, and then they're like, the door opens or something, it stops. It's like really kind of weird, eerie things happening. But then when he's got Trinity, after they've done that big fucking shootout to try and rescue Morpheus, when they're in and that bit's fucking cool, when he holds her and they're on the lift and he shoots the last bit so they go flying up. He says there is no spoon before he shoots the thing and goes flying up. It's so fucking cool, but it seems really cheesy now, but he's holding her. She steps in, he holds her like fucking Tarzan, and he pulls the gun out and says, "There is no spoon." Then fires the gun, it detaches the lift, and they go flying all the way up as it explodes.
I love that. There's just so many good things about it. Like even the subtlety when they're in the Matrix, everything's got that green tint to it.
Yeah, man.
Which you don't automatically realize at the beginning, but then halfway through you realize everything's been green tinted all the way through.
Yeah. But the bit well, again, that's the brilliant kind of work of the cinematography. Like it's so beautifully shot, that film. Like it's so cinematic in every angle, really.
Well, that's it. And the big one that we mentioned briefly earlier, like the lean back, the famous dodging the bullet. The best bit, we brought it up before we started recording, but the best bit about that is not the leaning back.
Yeah.
It's the fact that he's shooting the agent and the agent's doing the
that's crazy.
Can't shoot him, and you're like, oh wow. And then the agent shoots Neo back and Neo does the thing.
Yeah.
and Trinity comes up to him and goes, "You move just like them, and you can't shoot them." And then the agent appears, and he's about to shoot Neo, and then Trinity pops up and puts a gun right to his head and just goes, "Dodge this."
Yeah, but it was.
But he comes off his feet. He flies off like he gets
Yeah,
shot.
yeah.
Hard.
But he says only human as he's about to shoot Neo, which is a diss.
Only human.
It's actually a diss because he's actually almost agent, really, because he's just dodged bullets. And then, but here's the crazy thing: when she said dodge this, it's going through the side of his head.
Yeah.
When it jumped back to the actual helicopter pilot that he's taken over, it's through the forehead. Because you're like, how does that fucking work? It's like
mistakes happen.
Really clever. No, but it's almost like he turned.
But that's where the bad CGI. Well, there was some moments that are not as slick as they could be these days, but it's forgivable because it's so good for then. But the bit where you realize that he is Neo's the one, and he, to beat the last agent, he dives inside him and becomes him.
Oh yeah, that's right at the very end. Yeah,
that blast out is really bad.
Yeah. When the bits fly and
blocks the CGI flying, it was like.
But I love it when he flexes. He flexes, and the whole corridor goes warm.
Well, those cool bits, because like that's straight after the helicopter thing where she goes on when she's on the helicopters, and he grabs the rope to pull the helicopter.
Yeah, to hold her while she can escape. Yeah,
she jumps out of the helicopter, so he's got her. But when the helicopter hits the building, the blades crush into the building rather than smashing the glass,
and she's swinging.
And the building warps, like goes rather than just crushing, goes whoop, whoop, whoop.
Dude, that's
so fucking cool.
Dude, that is one of the coolest shots, and they used that. I remember they used that clip to sell Blu-rays back in the day. They used that clip of they used the scene in Heat.
Shots.
They used the scene in Heat where they're doing like the heist, shooting out all of the cars, and then they used that scene from The Matrix where Trinity flies into the. But it's the coolest thing when she's just flying through the air and it's all exploding.
I was going to say, because DVDs didn't exist then, because I've just checked. I bought a DVD player when they first came out. I assume within the first year. They're probably like DVD players you can get for like 20 quid now. I swear the DVD player was like 400 quid when I bought it. Like back in like then.
Yeah, 200 quid or
But Gladiator came free with my DVD player, and that came out in 2000.
Wow.
So DVDs existed after Matrix, and then they released it probably just straight after. So yeah, that's.
What about the bit where? Oh man, it's so cool. I was thinking about the tension. So when he goes inside the wall, and they're like, first off he goes, "Oh, deja vu," and they're like, "What?" And he's like, "I saw a cat. It looked very similar." He's like, "Similar or identical?" He's like, "Well, it was the same cat, and then it did the exact same moves." They're like, "What?" And he's like, "Something's changed. They've changed the program." And then Paul Mouse pulls out the biggest fucking guns. It reminded me of The Mask, actually, when he's like,
yeah, because it's the big things.
He's like, ah. He gets like, because he opens the curtain, it's just wall. He's like, oh no, and he's like, goes flying back like the squibs and all that. That must have been a fun day shooting, no pun intended. And then then they're like, they don't know where to go, so they go into the toilet, which is a great place to hide from people. And then there's like that little broken bit of wall, and they go inside the wall like they're like rats hiding from the agents. And then they're all like balanced on top of one another. And the way it's shot is so tense because you feel like you're right there with them. But then, oh man, what's it? Cypher
sneezes.
Yeah, but it's also like,
is that deliberate?
Yeah, because it's a two-way thing though, because the dust, you can see it getting, when Morpheus moves his feet, the dust falls, and it's like,
he sneeze and because he's going to get shot.
Yeah, but then again, the Oracle says there's going to be a time where he's going to risk his life because he thinks you are the one, and then so everything is foreseen. Do you know what I mean? There is the fortuitous nature of the Oracle because she has a foreshadow for what's going to happen, and she even says maybe in another life, dear, which is the idea that when he gets killed, his second life, he comes back as Neo, and he's able to become the one. But that
Yeah.
bit where they try to rescue him, sorry, that's what I was going to get to. Sorry, that bit is so cool when he risks himself and he punches through the wall and pins down the agent, and he says, "Run, Neo!" and they slide down the wall, and all the tiles explode like confetti.
They really went out hard on this film. This must have been a massive risk.
It
The
reminded
sort
me
of
of
risk that they probably wouldn't make today. And it worked so well, because I can't think of a film, especially not in the 90s or earlier,
well, I was going to say Blade.
action and the effects and the stunt. Blade's nowhere near this.
No, hear me out. But I was going to say about the martial art concept. Like, I know they've been doing stuff like that for ages, but the martial art concept of Matrix was so cool.
Yeah, but martial arts been in films for ages. I'm talking about the combination of martial arts with the special effects and stuff.
Oh
Like,
yeah. It's next level.
like Keanu Reeves, as we know these days, he learns all the martial arts and
Yeah,
does it. And he fucking knows his shit.
Well, dude, I think without the Matrix, we wouldn't have John Wick. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like,
Well, I mean,
it's the same behind it as well.
Just looking at some information about it, like Carrie-Anne Moss performed the shots that Trinity did at the beginning of the film, and all the wire shots throughout herself. She didn't have a stunt double.
Wow,
The opening scene took 6 months of training, and she shot it in 4 days.
it's fucking incredible.
That's
I
quite intense.
love
If anyone knows anything about filmmaking, you can spend. I've been on a few film sets, like feature films, and in a full day, you can, if you're lucky, get 5 minutes of a conversation of two people chatting across a desk.
Yeah.
You know, a whole day can be 5 to 10 minutes of footage, depending how intricate it is,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And in 4 days, they filmed an entire 10-minute. I know 10 minutes doesn't sound long, but
No, but
that
action
amount of
intro.
action
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Oh yeah, that's the other thing as well, because the studio were behind it, but critical, because it was so outlandish and such a film that no one had ever seen or heard of and could understood, that they made sure that there was a great deal of explanatory dialogue within the scenes, because the script they thought no one would understand, which
Yeah.
is fair, because it's complex. So there was lots of. That's why Morpheus has to explain things in.
Yeah. There's like the exposition dumps, but it's done very smoothly. It doesn't feel like exposition because, again, interestingly,
it
reminds me of Inception. I can imagine Nolan sitting back and watching The Matrix and go, I want to create something like this. I want to create a gang of people that are kind of doing heists or missions that you really want to get on board with. And it's the idea of entering another world that has a duality world. So then he thought of obviously dreams and entering dreams and doing heists. But I thought it's interesting how he uses no sunglasses apart from one scene where DiCaprio's got the sunglasses on and he takes them off when he meets Eames. But I could see so much of the Matrix in Inception.
That's it. All these films are they all borrow from each other, which is cool. And everyone knows it, but it's nice when you spot those little things.
It's fucking cool, man. But I was going to say, like, Ewan McGregor and rumor has it DiCaprio, a lot of people went up for Neo, as in like that they had names that they wanted to. I don't think they went ahead and did the audition. But
it's strange because Keanu Reeves was still, although he was, he'd done some cool shit at that point, like, your Speed and Point Break and stuff. He still was nowhere near the top level for this type of film at the time. This was the one that skyrocketed, and he's the
on a map for sure, didn't it? Like properly,
because he reduced his pay to pay the stunt guys and to pay cast members more money, because they were struggling to make the film. So he took a pay cut on like one of his biggest payloads, and he bought all the stunt guys Harley Davidsons and Rolexes.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. He's an absolute legend.
And another tidbit, in 2012, The Matrix was selected by the US Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry archives for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. It was a game changer.
Yeah, it will never. Yeah, it blew the lid off of film. Like
when we talked about Seven of the Week, like film wise, it didn't. It's I think Seven is a better film overall. But the point I'm trying to make is that Seven didn't do anything that broke a mold. It just was better storytelling. What I mean is it. There's been films like it. It was just the best of that type of film.
No, that's what I was going to say.
Matrix made the bullet point, the bullet photography made the CGI better for generations to come.
Yeah,
and changed the way films were made. Seven didn't change anything.
No.
Seven was the best of its ability.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, I was going to say, from a genre point of view, I think Matrix did a similar thing to Seven in the sense that Seven kind of just blew out the competition when it comes to psychological crime thriller, right? You can't think of another detective film without thinking of Seven. Like, it's the best. It's the finest piece of detective, like, film you'll ever get, right? And I think this is a bold statement. Matrix completely changed the game on science fiction.
Yeah. It made different things possible and different conversations possible. Nothing had done that. People had done films on that pretense, like Terminator, stuff like that. But Terminator is just a thing that comes back and kills people.
Yeah.
There's some intellectual bits, but nothing massive. Whereas The Matrix, the reason it almost didn't get made is because no one understood the plot. It was too clever, too in-depth, too smart, which is why you had to have, like you said, the expositions, but it wasn't so obvious that it derailed or jarred the plot. But I mean, like, I was just reading as well, like, about Keanu Reeves. Prior to pre-production, Keanu Reeves suffered a 2-level fusion of his cervical spine, which had begun to cause paralysis in his legs, requiring him to undergo neck surgery. He was still recovering from this during pre-production, but insisted on training. The stunt coordinator let him practice only punches and lighter moves. Keanu Reeves trained hard and even requested training on days off. However, the surgery left him unable to kick for 2 out of 4 months of training. As a result, Reeves did not kick much in the film.
So it might be a stunt double doing the kicks.
No, he just didn't do as many kicks. He was doing. That's why he was doing more of the kind of. It was more like Wing Chun. He was doing that sort of stuff.
Well, what about that bit where one of the most exciting moments for me, which probably echoes the bit from Endgame when Captain America gets the hammer, which we talked about a couple of times in episodes, but something that echoes that for me on a point of level where I'm at the cinema going is the bit where Neo is the agent runs out of the train or something, and then Neo's there and he's about to run and he turns back and everyone's like, run, and then he's like, he's beginning to believe, and it's like, it's the coolest moment where he just turns and goes, no, I'm going to fight. Because he even says, and it's one of the rules in the film, he says, if you see an agent, you do what everyone else does, you run. But he's like, nah.
I believe.
I'm going to fight. And he has the coolest fight, and he even brings the humor into it, like, where he's doing that, and then fights him.
He puts his hand behind his back, and he's like,
but that's at the very end. Right? But that fight at the train station, and then it's even got a moment where it's very like a Western. The newspaper flies across, and it even has a little Western tune as they pull out their guns and then fire for each other and then just fly into each other and spin around. But I think what made it really scary is the fact that agents could turn into anyone in any area. So when it was like the all-seeing eye, like in Lord of the Rings, it's like when that homeless guy's there and he's drinking and he sees the person disappear and he's like, oh. And then it's like,
it's like he runs and steals that guy's phone to make a call, and the guy goes, he took my phone. The agent just turns into him.
Yeah. Or that big shootout near the fruit market. He like pulls the gun out and shoots, and like you've got bullets flying and bits of watermelon, and it's like, it's so tense. It's just a roller coaster ride, man. It's incredible.
This film hardly cost anything. They filmed it in Australia. I did not know this.
Yeah. I was going to say they filmed it. Yeah.
So they kept the final budget as 60 million. You can't make anything for 60 million. That's an indie movie now.
That's mental.
And the movie would not have been greenlit by Warner Brothers because it would have cost a record £180 million if it was in the US.
Oh, if it was filmed in America, yeah.
In 1999,
But
180 million.
they made Australia look like America. 'Cause when you're watching it, you feel like you're in America. That's what's so clever about the
Yeah,
production.
at no point did I not think it was in America.
Yeah. Oh fuck! What was I going to say? I was just about to say something. Cool.
But everything about it is record breaking. Like that lean back, dodging the bullets has been spoofed like over 20 times.
But the creatures as well.
historical.
I was going to say it's amazing on multiple levels because like they're in a dystopian world where they're living inside pipes essentially, and they're getting chased by these weird kind of octopus things that want to bring them back into the matrix to make them like these batteries that are being used up. And that's cool. The idea that they're hiding in pipes in a dystopian world, but they're fighting in a kind of digital world. And the bro, he's like, yeah, when he says we need guns, lots of guns, and it's like,
Yeah.
and it's like all of the programming, and it's like when he's like we need to fly that helicopter. She's like, hang on 2 minutes, and he's like, let's go, and he like, it's so cool that you've got the guy back there just like doing programming, and he could just put in like a disc, and they learn stuff so quickly.
Right. Have you heard?
I know kung fu.
Apart from, we should probably end soon because we've gone quite long on a spoiler review. But
Yeah.
are you aware of all the actors that were meant to play the roles of, apart from just Will Smith for Neo?
Did we spoil it enough for you? No, go on.
So Morpheus, one of the wait a minute, let me just get it. I moved it a second. So yeah, for Morpheus, they were gonna have Gary Oldman,
Okay.
Samuel L. Jackson,
Yeah, I could see that.
and the studio actually wanted Val Kilmer.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's a random selection, right?
Yeah, that's quite crazy. Yeah.
For Trinity, Sandra Bullock was offered the role, but turned it down because Will Smith was attached to it.
Ooh, that's a bit
She
controversial.
regretted her decision because Keanu Reeves ended up in the role and she would have liked to have done it, but she doesn't like Will Smith. Where'd that come from?
Wow, but I think that would have been weird though, because it's a bit weird when certain characters come together from another famous franchise. Speed
yeah.
would have just felt a bit. I don't know if that would have worked.
Do you know who was meant to be Neo apart from Will Smith? Do you know who the Wachowski brothers, who
Well,
are
I heard it
two
was Ewan
sisters,
McGregor, DiCaprio.
do you know who they wanted from day one? This was, right, to give you an idea, it was in pre-production in the early 90s. It took about 8 to 9 years
Jim
to
Carrey?
start to get made. What?
Jim Carrey.
No, you'll never guess it. Brandon Lee.
Oh wow, from The Crow.
Yeah, but he died in 94. So
Wow.
that's when they started approaching Will Smith.
Fair enough.
But Brandon Lee,
That
the-
would have been,
imagine the world right now with
That-
Brandon Lee alive.
would have been a game changer as Neo.
Brandon Lee would be like the Keanu Reeves of this world, because I think Keanu Reeves would still be where he's at.
Yeah.
But Brandon Lee is also that nice guy. He would have done the same shit that Keanu Reeves did.
I think he would have bring a bit more gravitas to it, if I'm honest. Don't get me wrong, I love Keanu Reeves. He's great and fun to watch in films, but he's never going to win an Oscar. He's not.
See, that's annoying as well, because I love him, but I know what you're saying.
Because the way he delivers dialogue, it never has any depth.
I
Do you
don't
know
know. I don't agree with that, but I know what you mean, because but that's
But
just the way he is.
it sounds weird saying it. It feels acted, right? So say you watch say you see De Niro in a scene. If you ever watch De Niro, it's invisible acting. It just feels like you're watching a character go through something. When I watch Keanu Reeves, it feels like lines in a script, and he's acting.
I don't agree, because I think if you compare him to De Niro plays those subtle, dark roles.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is an action film star who does physical and delivers one-liners and shit like that. Like,
Yeah, but
it's
then
a
interestingly, I'd say that
I don't think you can compare it, because that's like comparing
Well, no, but
Jim
okay, but Tom Cruise.
You compare Jim Carrey and Al Pacino.
Well, actually, no, you
They're
can
both
though.
top of their game, but they're completely different. And then
Yeah,
Jim
no,
Carrey in Goodfellas, in The Godfather, no.
yeah, no. Of course not. But what I'm saying is when Jim Carrey was in Number 23, or when he was in
Yeah, he's done loads of dramatic roles and he's
what's
brilliant.
the one with Kate Winslet?
Eternal
Sometimes the
Sunshine of the
Spotless Mind.
Spotless
Like,
Mind.
mate, he was incredible. He's got acting chops. But what I guess what I'm saying is just like sometimes when I watch Keanu Reeves films, I love the guy and I could watch him in anything, and he's very charismatic and everything. It's just that sometimes I wonder what the dialogue would be like with an actor with a little bit more acting chops.
I know. It's annoying to argue with you because I know what you mean, but I don't want to take anything away from Keanu. I think
But
he's amazing.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that when you mentioned Brandon Lee, I'm saying I think it's a better choice because when I saw Brandon Lee in The Crow,
I agree.
I'm just saying he has more gravitas as an actor, as in he can bring a bit more depth to Neo potentially. I'm not undoing any of the great work that Keanu Reeves has done. He's fun to watch, and he's a very he's a great actor on an entertainment
Getting with Keanu, I
and
think.
spectacle. But I'm saying, for example, like imagine, okay, here's a really interesting thing. Shawshank Redemption, right? Imagine Keanu Reeves playing the Tim Robbins character.
It'd be more caricature.
There you go. So what I'm saying is,
things like The Devil's Advocate and stuff. He's fantastic in, but
pretty good in The Devil's Advocate, though. I did really enjoy that. I really enjoyed that.
I do agree. It is more of a kind of a
He's actually better in A
to a
Scanner
degree.
Darkly. He's actually really good in that, actually, with Robert Downey Jr. That's a crazy film.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of others that are more acting-y, but I guess
I mean, Speed is, but again, it's very
Feeling Minnesota. He was very good in that. A Walk in the Clouds, stuff like that. I mean, these are more kind of relaxed films, but when you bring up things like Speed and Dracula, Point Break, they're brilliant, but they are Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just a certain level of what you expect. It's the same with John Wick. He just says,
I think if Keanu Reeves, the man, was a prick, you'd hate him Keanu Reevesing. But because he's the nicest man on earth,
yeah,
when Keanu Reeves is, I love it.
Yeah, he is a profound, incredibly kind and wonderfully hearted man that is an absolute kind of exception to the rule of Hollywood, really. Like, with all the money and things he owns, he'd rather hang out with a homeless person for 2 hours and just, buy them lunch and kick back than be at massive galas, and he doesn't fall into the tropes of Hollywood.
Well, he's going to get a real moment, and I feel like he's a real human, where most people are fairly superficial.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and yeah.
What was that film he did? That horror? Can you remember that horror? Where the two women come and attack.
Yeah, it's like the knock on the house with the knife. That he was all right in that, actually. And one of the girls was Anna Demara, or whatever her name is.
Anna de Arms.
Anna de Arms, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what the name of the film's called, but it was really surreal because that was
Is it not?
It was one of the first times that Keanu Reeves was not a nice person. Oh, just called Knock Knock.
Knock Knock, yeah.
But a lot of the films, even if he's killing people, he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy killing people.
Yeah. Do you know what he was really cool in, actually? He was really cool. I remember watching him in Chain Reaction in the cinema and thinking that was so cool. Him and Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching Chain Reaction. And then wasn't he in something called Johnny Pharaonic or Johnny
Mnemonic?
Johnny Mnemonic, which again feels very kind of Matrixy.
Yeah, there's loads of stuff. He was in The Bad Batch as well. He was in loads of good stuff. But we're just naming films now, so
Yeah. But
shall we call it? My cat is attacking me, wants me to go to bed so that she can lie in my nook.
in your nestle. Yeah.
Shall we? Have you got any final words on the Matrix apart from it being phenomenal? PH-anomenal?
Yeah. I mean, wake up, man. The Matrix has you, you know?
Wake up. Yeah, watch it. Just
Watch it,
if you
guys.
haven't watched it recently, even if you know it inside, watch it again because it hits differently in 2025. I'll
Yeah.
give it that.
Well, I'll tell you something actually very, very quickly. There's a poet called R.K. Gandhi, Ravi Gandhi, who released a poetry book called Red Pill Rhymes. And it's doing incredibly well. And we were talking about the success of The Matrix, and the concept of his book is about wake up to the world that you're in. And he has just released, actually, let me just quickly plug this because this is really fucking cool. He has just released a spoken word filmic experience called Red Pill Rhymes Experience. And it's dope, man. It is really, really cool. Because I was actually saying it would be actually really cool to get him on it as a guest because he's a big fan, clearly, of The Matrix. But I just want to quickly show you this. It's super cool. Hang on.
That's cool.
You can see that. But even cooler than that, he's got the version of it. That's the red pill rhymes. Oh, fuck! It's so annoying when it's.
Pull it away and touch your screen.
I'll touch your screen.
There you go. See?
Yeah, that's nice. But yeah, the USB for the actual thing. Oh wow! All of a sudden, my thing becomes terrible. The USB for the actual experience is it's designed in a red pill, and you pull it apart and you can put it into your computer.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I listened to it, and it's like
the link. Send me the link.
I will, man. Yeah. It's
I think I know the guy. I think I've spoken to him actually before. He's commented on some of our stuff.
Yeah, and he's a big movie fanatic, and he was talking about Rage Whale, and he'd love to come on as a guest, man. I think we should. He's Canadian, man. He's a really cool dude. But yeah, I just thought that was a nice little plug for him because it's massively connected to the Matrix.
Nice one. Well, thank you for listening to another spoiler review. We're going to keep doing more of these, I think, because I enjoy these.
I love spoilers, man.
I think it's good doing older films as well, because I don't feel like we're spoiling anything too early.
Yeah.
But we will do some recent cinema films on occasion.
Yeah, we'll do The Substance in a couple of weeks.
The Substance probably next, but we'll keep doing some older films as well, because I think no matter what, they're always enjoyable to listen to chat about.
Yeah,
it gets you hyped and might reignite your passion to go and watch some old films, which are amazing.
Yeah, man. From the 90s, baby.
Yeah, and something like this, which is cinematic royalty and unmatched, really.
Unmatched legendariness.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.